back to my beginner's series on Walt Disney World. For this video, we're going to be talking about Animal Kingdom. We'll go through rides, dining, character meet and greets, shows, and then a few other bits that you do get around Animal Kingdom. So just a few things to note. Early entry for this park does actually differ throughout the week. On a Thursday, Friday and Saturday, it's between 7 and 7:30 a.m. On a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, it's 7:30 a.m. until 8 a.m. Just something to note if you are wanting to do the rope drop for any of the rides or anything. So the 6 areas of the park, you've got the Oasis, Discovery Island, Pandora, Africa, Asia, and at the moment it's Dino Land USA. That I believe is going to be turned into the Tropical Americas, but that's not until fall 2027 when that opens, so you've got until the end of 2025 for sure to ride dinosaurs. I'll do exactly the same thing if you want to follow along on your My Disney Experience app. That's totally up to you, but I'll pop it on the screen here so that you can see what I'm talking about. So once again, I'm going to make sure that the filter is on Animal Kingdom. So this is the entrance to the park. You'd have gone through security, past where the Rainforest Cafe entrance is on the left, and you'll keep going. There is a Joffrey stand there for if anybody wants to get a coffee while they're waiting for rope drop as well. So if we just take a look at the Oasis to begin with, so there's a few animal exhibits, and then there's also the Rainforest Cafe on the left hand side, which you can enter from either outside of the park, or there is a little pathway here to enter it from inside the park as well. There's lockers, there's also Garden Gate gifts, which is basically where you won't really get much merchandise, but it's all the things that you may need for a day in the park. So in this area you can actually meet Pluto as well. So it's just before the bridge where you see the Tree of Life on the right hand side. So if we move on to Discovery Island, you can see this is quite a big area. So on this island there's the Tree of Life, there's shops, there's a little bit of entertainment, there's character meet and greets, there's roaming characters, there's the Wilderness Explorer stops, a couple of animal exhibits as well, there's dining locations, so it's quite a large area. So on Discovery Island there are 3 Wilderness Explorer stops. The Wilderness Explorer stops are basically just a little bit of fun for anyone really. You get given a handbook. You're best to go to the Wilderness Explorer spot that's right across the bridge on the right hand side as soon as you enter Discovery Island, and it will basically take you through all of the stops that you can go to, everything that you can learn about. You earn little sticker badges, so it's a really nice thing for anyone to do, but obviously it's mainly aimed towards children. You do learn a lot on them, so I mean anybody can do it. All of the Wilderness Explorer stops are open from 9 until 6 p.m. Obviously bear in mind that the changes of opening times for the park might differ that, but just check on the day that you go in. Just in front of the tree there is a small show that's basically called Winged Encounters. It's a really good show to watch, so if you do have time just stop and have a look. So if we just talk about the merchandise just for a moment, the shops are literally just as you enter the park over the bridge. On the left hand side, just as you walk in, you've got Island Mercantile. Right hand side, you've got Riverside Depot and the Discovery Trading Company. So Island Mercantile has got things like children's play sets, it's got plushes, there's a few t-shirts in there. Whereas on the right hand side, find lounge supplies, that's where you'll find the Doonies. That's the main pin trading store for Animal Kingdom. You'll find all the homeware in that side. So if we move on to dining for Discovery Island, there are quite a few options. First one that I feel I need to mention first is Nomad Lounge. This is a really nice lounge that anybody can go to. There is a walk-up list, but you can also sign up on the app as well. I'd really recommend doing that. I mean, you can do it whilst you're in a queue for a ride. I believe the app opens at 10 a.m, but you do need to be in the park and around that area to be able to join the walk-up list. You can't sort of do it from your hotel and then get in for the afternoon and hope that you're going to get your table. It doesn't work like that because there are people queuing up between 10 and 10:30 to get a table. There's a couple of things that I would recommend from Nomad Lounge. There's the churros. definitely get your own portion. Probably the best churros on property. They're really, really nice, and they're gluten-free as well. So in the Nomad Lounge, there are a lot of obviously really nice cocktails, but there are a lot of nice mocktails as well. And if it's really too hot outside, that's actually what I prefer to go for. I had the hibiscus henna, and a few of my friends have tried the lily gorilli, and they've both said that they're really nice as well. So just a recommendation there. You can also get Joffrey's. So there's Tiffin's right next door, and these two places actually share a kitchen. So lunch at Tiffin's is from 11:30 until 3:55, and then dinner is from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. when the park is closing. I've never been here, so I can't actually give any recommendations for everything, but I'm sure there's other YouTube channels and things like that that have got recommendations for this place. We'll move on to Pizza Safari. This is basically just puff pizza. You can get other things there like salads, chicken, but to be honest, I've got that many recommendations for Animal Kingdom. I just wouldn't bother going to that one. And then if we move on to Creature Comforts, this is just the Starbucks location for Animal Kingdom. The queues in here do tend to get quite long, but actually it moves really quickly, so don't be put off for if it's busy. So if we move to the other side of the island as well. So we've got 8 Spoon Cafe, and their menu has literally just changed as well. So this is where you used to be able to find the macaroni and cheese. I believe that that's being just moved to another location. So this one's open from 10:30 until 5 p.m. and it does things like chicken wings, pork sliders, and then they've also got something that's called the family churros, which is basically, I believe it's 21 bite-sized churros, and then you get like a chocolate caramel sauce and sprinkles as well. So that's quite a nice little sweet treat to share. And then if we move just a little bit further round, you've got the Flame Tree Barbecue. There is loads of seating in this area, but to be fair, it needs it because it does get really busy, so I'd recommend putting a mobile order in for this one. This one's open from 10:30 until 6 p.m. They do really good slushies here as well for if you just want like a nice refreshing drink. What a lot of people tend to get is like the macaroni cheese, the half chicken, the pulled pork sandwich is really nice. The chicken salad is really nice. It does like a little snack that's quite popular, which is fries with pulled pork on the top. And then if we just go next door, you've got the Isle of Java. So for breakfast, they basically do like a sausage, egg and cheese biscuit. And when I say biscuit, if you're from the UK, that's basically more like a scone, but it's a savoury scone. But then they also do I think it's called the Tiger Tail Croissant Twist, which is basically the Cheshire Cat tail, but with different coloured icing on the top. They do churros, pretzels, cinnamon rolls. Everything that I've told you apart from the breakfast biscuit is basically what they serve throughout the rest of the day under the snack time. So that's all of the dine-in locations on Discovery Island. Flame Tree Barbecue is actually where you'll find a lot of the bands as well. So they've got live bands and entertainment around that area. It happens periodically throughout the day, so just keep an eye out for that. Probably be able to hear them before you see them. Characters that you can meet on Discovery Island include Minnie and Mickey in their safari outfits. You can also meet Doug, Russell, and you can meet Kevin. You can meet Pocahontas, and you can also meet Moana as well. So it won't show it right now because of the time difference. So park's not actually open in the US while I'm filming this in the UK. But if you go onto this page here and you just click characters, it will show you where you can meet characters by putting a little Mickey head on the map. I believe that Mickey and Minnie are in the Adventurers Outpost here. Kevin normally roams around this area. Doug and Russell are here, I believe. And then Pocahontas and Moana, there's a little pathway just before you go under the sign for Dino Land USA. On the right hand side of that, that's where you'll meet those two. So if we move on to Pandora, that's just on the left hand side of the tree. So you've got a couple of rides in Pandora. You've got Flight of Passage, which has got a 44-inch height requirement. You could probably expect something a little bit like Soarin', but also nothing like Soarin'. So while that's not helpful in the slightest, that's the kind of ride mechanism that it is, but you're in an individual seat and you get to interact in a different way with the screen than you would on Soaring Just. And then you've got Navi River Journey. That's at any height requirement. I would not recommend going on that if the wait time is above 30 minutes. There is an amazing animatronic in there though. It cost Disney, I think, something like $23 million. To be fair, it's worth going on if you just want a little bit of relaxing as well, because it's just a riverboat. Don't expect anything like Pirates of the Caribbean where you've got 2 drops in it. It's just a relaxing river journey. There's also 2 Wilderness Explorer stops within Pandora as well. So dining options, you've got Pongu Pongu, which is just like a snack bar. It does do a couple of little things, but to be honest, I've not tried any of them. What I have tried from here is the Night Blossom drink, and that's a really nice slush, and it's got little boba balls at the bottom of it as well. It's really nice. And then next door to Pongu Pongu is Satuli Canteen. So this one is open from 8 until 10 a.m. for breakfast, and then 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. for lunch and dinner. So something that's quite popular that you can get for breakfast is the cinnamon French toast. I think I definitely want to go and try this when we go in October. It's something that I've not tried before, so I'm looking forward to that. And then for lunch and dinner, you can actually make like a combination bowl, which is where you choose a protein and then just a few other sides to go with it as well. But this is actually where you can get the cheeseburger pods. I recommend them, they're really nice. But I also, because I like to get other snacks around Animal Kingdom, I recommend getting the kids size. So the shopping area within Pandora is called Wind Traders, and that's basically the shop that you'll walk through after you get off Flight of Passage. It's nice. It's obviously all Avatar themed, so you'll get little banshees in there, you'll get plushes, loads of kids toys, you'll get t-shirts. I think there's a couple of lounge flies, but the one thing that I do recommend if you enjoy the ride is the candle, and I think it's only something like $24.99, and it smells just like when you're going through one of the scenes of Pandora. So if we move on to Africa, we'll start with the rides that you can go on within Africa. So there's Kilimanjaro Safaris, that's an any height requirement ride. I recommend going on this either early in the morning or late afternoon when it's a bit cooler, because you get a lot more activities from the animals when it's not as hot. So there's 3 Wilderness Explorer stops within Africa as well, and you might find a couple of those on the trails that you can go round. So there's the Gorilla Falls Trail, and then you can get the Wildlife Express train, and that will take you up to Rafiki's Planet Watch. The trains go from 9:30 until 4:30 p.m, so make sure that you do that before they close. You've got the Affection Station, you've got the Conservation Station, and then you've also got the Animation Experience, and I'll put the times for that here. That's basically where you'll get a Disney animation artist showing you how to draw a character. All the characters differ as well. Let's go through the shows before we go through the dining options, because there's quite a lot of dining options in Africa. So the first one is the Festival of the Lion King. Please do not miss this. You get a long seat as well, so it's just nice to go in during the middle of the day, but it gets really busy. So I would actually recommend going to the either earlier or the later on shows. Then got more street bands within Africa as well, and these are really good to watch, they're good fun. And then we'll move on to dining. So we'll go to the Darwin Bar first. That's basically where you're going to get cocktails, mocktails, you'll get beers, wine, and that's open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. They do a cocktail, I can't remember what it's called, it's something like jungle juice. That's really nice, so I'd recommend that one. So just opposite is Tamu Tamu. They've actually got some really good options for breakfast and for snacking as well. So for breakfast, they do things like the sausage, egg and cheese biscuit. They do pastries. They've got a honey pistachio croissant. That's really nice. And then for the snack time, they've got Dole Whip, which is obviously just something really nice to get during the middle of the day. It's really refreshing. And that one's open for breakfast from 8 until 11, and then from 11 until 6 for snack time. So if we go back over to the opposite side, you've then got Tusker House. That's a character meal, serves breakfast, lunch and dinner, and you'll get Donald, Daisy, Goofy and Mickey, I believe. It's open from 7:30 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. But that obviously differs with the park opening times as well, so just double check. And that one's basically like a buffet. You can get, you know, Mickey waffles, pancakes, sausage, eggs. You can get omelettes made to order. You can get the African French toast. That sounds really good. That's all the breakfast options. And then if we move on to Kusafiri Coffee Shop, that's open from 8 a.m. until 11. You can get tachos, pastries, and joffres from here. You've got the Harambe Fruit Market. That one should be open from 7:30 until 6:30 p.m. They do things like fruit, pretzels, hot dogs. And then you've got Zori's Sweet Shop. This is, I believe, the only place that you can get the fresh bakery bits from Animal Kingdom. So very similar to Main Street Confectionery. This is where you'll get the caramel apples, the Rice Krispie treats, cupcakes, cookies, just, you know, really fresh things like that. I would not recommend getting a cupcake and saving it for later, because in the Florida heat it's not lasting. You've got to bear in mind that these things are being refrigerated while you're looking at them, and then as soon as you've bought them, they're in like a little, they do have really good packaging for the cupcakes now. Buy one, they put it in like a little plastic dome, but that means that it's basically melted if you don't plan on eating it right away. They do really fun twists on a lot of the classic treats that you can get in Disney World, sort of Animal Kingdom style. And then you've got the Harambe Market. So this one serves for lunch and dinner, and I think it's open from 10:45 until 3:15, so it's not open for that long. It sells things like rice bowls, salads, hitters. There is a frozen flamingo slush from here, which is really nice. I'd recommend that. It's quite nice to get the frozen flamingo after you've been on one of the trails as well, because it's really refreshing. So if we start to make our way over to where Asia is, so you've got Expedition Everest, which again is the 44-inch height requirement. If your child does not like roller coasters, definitely other options. And then you've also got Kali River Rapids, which is a 38-inch height requirement. That's basically just a water rapids ride. So there's 2 Wilderness Explorer stops in Asia as well. The Jungle Trek, which is basically where you can find the tigers in Asia as well. So just as you're walking into Asia from Africa, there's also Feathered Friends in Fly. Feathered Friends in Fly. Feathered Friends in Fly. I don't actually know much about that show because I've never been to see it. Maybe that's something that I need to do in October. Okay, so the dining options in Asia. We'll go through the ones on the way first. We've got a few little stops on the way to Asia from Africa. So that includes Caravan Road, which basically does things like shaved ice, and then a few little cocktails as well. It's actually a really cheap option for a cocktail, because I think it was something like maybe $13 for a pina colada here, and that's quite cheap in Disney. And that one's open from 11 until 5. And then if you go just opposite is Mr. Kamal's. That is where you will find the seasoned fries. That's a really popular snack in Animal Kingdom. You'll also get chicken dumplings from here, and that one's open from 10:30 until 5. And then you've also got the, I think it's Wurrung Outpost, which is a bar, and that one's open from 11 until 5. Go further into Asia, you've got the Yak and Yeti restaurant. This is a really, really nice restaurant. I recommend a lot of people go in here if they enjoy that type of cuisine. It's open for lunch and dinner, and the opening times for that one is 10:30 until 5:50, I think. It's really strange timings where they close. I get the ahi tuna nachos from here, and they're really good. If you feel like you can't find a reservation off the Disney website, there is a reservation option where you can go through Open Table, and I believe there's a couple of other restaurants on property that you can book through that. I feel like the Boathouse at Disney Springs is also on that booking system as well, so just double check on that. And then you've got Yak and Yeti Local Foods Cafe, and they do breakfast, lunch and dinner here at 8:30 until 10:30, and then lunch and dinner is 10:45 until 5:30. And for breakfast, I probably recommend getting the breakfast bowls. They're really nice from here. But for lunch and dinner, you can get firecracker shrimp. That's really good. I really enjoyed that when we went in March. But you can also get the honey sesame chicken. That's good. And it's just a little bit more fresh than some of the other foods that you can get around Disney, because it comes with with vegetable and rice as well. Just opposite that is a Joffrey's, so obviously if you want to get your regular Joffrey's, that's where you can go for that. The next one along is a Nanda Pour ice cream truck. They do a Yeti sundae, which I get every time I go to Florida. It's so good. And then you've got the Thirsty River Bar. I'd probably recommend from the River Bar, the Himalayan Ghost is nice. That's something that I get after I've come off Expedition Everest. And I think it's called the Kumbu Ice one. They're both really nice, but they are more expensive than the truck further back towards Africa. So then if we start to make our way round to where Dino Land USA is, you've got the Finding Nemo, the Big Blue and Beyond show, which is really good actually. I've not been to this in years, so I've not actually got any footage of it, but it's basically like it's a big production, a good show, and it's good to sit in because I think it's an open air theatre as well, so that you can take food and drink in there. So if we just go further round, we'll do the attractions first. Dino Land USA, obviously this is going to be being demolished. Part of it already has been throughout this year, but they have confirmed that Dinosaur will be open until the end of 2025. Obviously that's the first ride that I'll talk about. So it has a 40-inch height requirement. You're thrown around quite a lot, but it is really fun to go on. So if you feel like your children will be okay with it, then it's really fun to go on. Just a little bit further along is Dino Zoo. So Dino Zoo is an actual reproduction of a T-Rex that was found in South Dakota. You've also got a Wilderness Explorer stop in Dino Land, and it's just near Restaurantosaurus. And then you've got the Boneyard, which is basically a really big play area, not for adults unfortunately, but so the dining options that you've got in Dino Land USA. If we start from the entrance, you've got Trilo Bites. That one's open from 10:30 until 6 p.m. You'll get Dole Whip floats. Something really popular from there is the Buffalo chicken chips. Not chips from people in the UK, crisps. They're really popular and they are really nice to get because I've had those before. Just a little bit further along, you've got Dino Bite Snacks, which is open from 10:30 until 5:30. And that's where you're gonna get your scooped ice cream cookie sandwiches, you know, just normal 1 or 2 scoops. And then you've got Restaurantosaurus, and these do sort of what I would say is usual theme park food. So they've got chicken, burgers, and they've got a Cobb salad, which is really nice. So the characters that you can meet in Dino Land USA, there's Goofy, he's near Restaurantosaurus, Donald, which is near the Welcome Centre, Daisy, which is on the Cretaceous Trail, and Chip and Dale is also on the Cretaceous Trail. You just need to go on the app and check the meet times for those. And that's about it for Animal Kingdom. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to show you what a day in Animal Kingdom might look like, and I'll fill the screen with it because I noticed that last time you couldn't really see what my writing said, and then I'll do a voiceover for it as well. So if you're interested in knowing what a day at Animal Kingdom might look like, stick around. If not, thank you for joining on this video, and I'll see you on the next one where we talk about Epcot. So I'm going to go through what a day at Animal Kingdom might look like for me. So I'm going to base it on going on a Thursday. So that would mean that I'll get to Animal Kingdom for 6:45 to get through security, ready for rope drop starting at 7 a.m. I'll go straight over to Pandora for Flight of Passage. Once I've gone on Flight of Passage, I'll probably check the time for a Navi River journey. Around 8 a.m, I'd go to Kusafiri Coffee Shop and get some of the breakfast tots and a Joffrey's. Then I'd probably go on Kilimanjaro safaris. And then because I'm in Africa at that point, I'll then start to go around all of the animal exhibits and go on the Gorilla Falls exploration trail. I will make sure to try and head over to the train in Africa for Rafiki's Planet Watch for the animation class at 10 a.m. Once I've come back from there, I'll probably start to head over to Asia and do the jungle trek. Then I'll go on Expedition Everest because that's by far one of my favourite rides at Disney World. I'll try and make sure that I head towards Dino Land USA in plenty of time for the 12 p.m. showing of the Finding Nemo Big Blue and Beyond show. Then I'd make sure that I was on the app to sign up for Nomad Lounge. to hopefully get in there at some point of the day for some churros and a nice cocktail. That'll probably take me to about 20 to 1, so I'll go on Dinosaur at that point. It will probably be a big queue, but then that means that all of the bigger rides at Animal Kingdom are done. And then I'd come off and meet some characters, Daisy and Donald. And then I'll probably head back through to Asia for some lunch at the Yak and Yeti's Local Foods, because I like their firecracker shrimp meal that they do with vegetables and rice there. That's really nice. I'll hopefully be able to get over to Africa for the Festival of the Lion King at 2 p.m. If you leave it too long in the day to watch Lion King, a lot of the later on shows are going to be really busy. So just make sure that you do try and go to one of the earlier shows. And then after the Lion King, I'll probably go back over to the Discovery Island and start to do a bit of shopping. I'll meet Mickey and Minnie on Discovery Island at Adventurers Outpost. I'll get a tropical breeze slush from Flame Tree Barbecue. That's really nice. And then you get to take home a couple of little glow cubes as well. And then that'll probably be near the end of the day, really. And then that means I can go home back to the resort, get ready and go to Disney Springs for the night. And that gives me plenty of time at Disney Springs then for an evening.